Good morning, students. How are you all? I hope you all are fine. In our previous online class, you have learned about the Alexander's invasion. Alexander was the king of Macedonia and he turns towards India in 326 BC. Then you have learned about the effects of Alexander's invasion, in which the new sea routes of communication with the west, both by land and by sea, were open in that manner that never happened before. Then second effect was related to the writings of Alexander. Generals and companions became an important source of information about the Mauryas. The most important is the account of the Megasthenes. Then third point describes about the Greek techniques left its mark on the Gandhar school of art. Fourth point describes the Greek invasion made kingdoms of the northwest weak. This paved the way for the rise and the growth of the Mauryan Empire. Then you have learned about sources to reconstruct the age of the Mauryans, and in that you have learned about literary sources. Indica was the name of the book which was written by Megasthenes, the Greek ambassador to Patliputra. Second book was the Arthashastra. The book was written by Kautilya and it describes about the duties of the king, functions of ministers, organization of the civil services and high level diplomacy. Other works is related to Vayu Purana and Matsya Purana, which describes about different dynasties. Then Vishakhadatta's Mudra Rakshas is considered to be the best historical drama in the whole of the Sanskrit literature. It describes about the Nanda rulers and the Chandragupta Maurya and Chanakya. So in this way, I have revised your previous online class topics. Today I will begin with the topic, the archaeological sources. The archaeological sources describes about the Ashokan edicts. An edict means an official order or proclamation. Official order means an order from the king. An order from the king means the order which was given by the king. Ashoka's edict can be broadly divided into two classes. It can be divided into two classes. Those engraved on the rocks, okay, the first one which is engraved on the rocks, and the second one those inside on the pillars of the stones. They are the most reliable source of information for the Mauryan history. So they are the most important source of the Mauryan time. They gives us the information about the Mauryas because they are the best preserved and also bear the year of Ashokan region. The rock edicts. A series of the 14th rock edicts were discovered at the places. 14 rock edicts of Ashoka were there and they are at different places such as the Iragudi, it is in Andhra Pradesh, Girnar, it is in Gujarat, Sopara, it is in Maharashtra, and Shahbaz Gahi, now in the Peshawar district of Pakistan. Ashoka in Rock Edict 12 at Shahbaz Gahi prescribes following rules to be followed. Okay, he describes about following rules. So they are non-violence or abstention from killing or living beings. Then truthfulness, a person should be true from his heart, he should be true from his mind, he should be true from his words. Obedience towards parents and elders describes that person should always obey his elders and parents. And respect towards the teachers because teachers give knowledge of the world. Conquest of the Kalinga was an important event of Ashoka's region. So you can say that it is a turning point in Ashoka's life According to the Rock Edict 13th, in this war, about 100,000 people were killed. How many were killed? Near about 1 lakh people were killed in this war. As many as 150,000 were taken as prisoners. 1,50,000 were taken as prisoners. The horrors of the war awakened in Ashoka's heart the feeling of profound sorrow. So, because of this war, when Ashoka was standing in the battlefield, he saw the field was full of blood. He saw that so many people were killed. So, this is a pitiable condition for Ashoka. As Ashoka wanted to change his life, Ashoka wanted to bring peace in his mind, he wanted to bring peace in the world, he wanted to get away from war. So, Ashoka's heart was full of grief and he wanted to come over from that grief. So, the 13th Rock Edict says, the beloved of the god, the king considered victory by Dhamma. So Ashoka wanted to change his life with the help of the religion, and he started a religion known as the Dhamma to be the foremost victory. Means the victory of the religion is the most important victory in man's life. Dhamma is a set of the edicts that formed a policy of the modern emperor Ashoka, who succeeded to the Mauryan throne in modern day India around 269 CE. He was considered one of the greatest kings of the ancient India for his policies of public welfare. Dhamma is a Prakrit word from the Sanskrit word dharma, which means justice, petty and good things in life. Means spreading of the moral values or teaching of the moral values.
Bless the Lord, oh my soul.
Inscriptions on the pillars. The pillars are the best specimens of the Mauryan architecture. The art critics have nothing but admiration for these pillars. Besides being very beautiful, pillars contain edicts of Ashoka. The inscriptions on the Remudai pillar, for instance, says, King, the beloved of the god, visited this spot in person and offered worship at this palace, or offered worship at this place. Because the Lord Buddha was born here. Further, as Lord Buddha was born here, the village of Lumbini was exempted from paying several taxes, including the land revenue. Because Lord Buddha was born here in Lumbini, so Lumbini will be exempted from all the taxes. Now, L'Oreal, Nandangarh, Delhi Topro and Rampurva pillar edicts are related to Dhamma. What does Dhamma consist of? Delhi Topro text says it consists of virtues, deeds, compassion, liberality, truthfulness and purity. Now we will see about Sanchi Stupa. Sanchi Stupa is a dome-like structure made of stone or bricks. The purpose of the stupa was to commemorate a sacred spot or a particular event, or the enshrine that relics of Buddha or those of the Buddhist saints. Okay, so Sanchi Stupa is a dome-like structure, and what things are kept there? The things which were related to the Buddha or the Buddhist saints. So the things which they used during their life. So that things were preserved in the Sanchi Stupa, and they were known as the relics of Buddha. The stupa at Barhat, Bodh and Sanchi are magnificent specimens of the Buddhist architecture. The great stupa at Sanchi near Vidisha in Madhya Pradesh is believed to have been originally built in the 3rd century BC. So when it was built, the Sanchi stupa at Vidisha in Madhya Pradesh was built in 3rd century BC by Ashoka. Later on, it was reconstructed during the time of the Shung dynasty or Shung period. The original stupa was enclosed by a wooden railing, which was later replaced by a massive stone railing. 4 gateways were also added. Okay, it has only one gateway, but during the time of the Shung dynasty, 4 gateways were added on all 4 sides of the stupa. The gateways are lavishly covered with magnificent sculptures which depict episodes from the Buddha's life. So gateways are covered with the sculptures, and the sculptures are related to the Buddha's life and from the Jataka tales. Buddha was represented in symbolic form like that of the wheel or a lotus or a throne under a peepal tree. The Sachi Stupa reveals a high standard of development in the technical and artistic skill of the people during the Shung period. Okay, the Sachi Stupa was a great development in the technical and artistic skill of the people. So please listen the video carefully and do the assignment on the given date. If you have any queries, please ask between 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Thank you and have a great day.